Step by step, heart to heart, left, right, left, we all fall down.
The truth is, behind closed doors, the P word became...
All right, here we go. This is my testimony. My testimony, Scott Michael Ford. Same testimony if you've ever heard my music at the end of the song, Eyes of a Thug, third verse. Same one that I'm talking about. The only reason I can think of that God would make me postpone telling this on official capacity myself for this long would be because open source AI has left it. As soon as I post this on different platforms and get it out there on the interweb, it's just never letting it disappear. It's stuck forever, can't be erased. No way, backtrack, not done. All right. Tell y'all a little bit about myself. Scott Michael Ford, my mom, dedicate this to her, R.I.P. Connie Joy, Broussard, Burrow, Ford, David. I'll always be here, I'm Joy. Y'all's almond, her joy. And you see, I was born and raised in a church family that was very healthy. University United Methodist Church was extremely good for me growing up. And I can't make y'all overstand enough how important that was in building me. Just as important as the fact that I had two good dads, whenever it was apparently fatherless households that were causing all these hooligans. I had two good dads. Grew up technically two good youth groups, one Trinity Baptist as a secondary to University United Methodist. Trinity, they pumped in a lot of money in that youth group. It made a difference. It showed it's very powerful back then. But start off with just showing y'all a couple things about me, what I like to do. I actually recently tried dipping for the first time since high school. It's just as disgusting as you ever thought it might be. But I don't want to promote smoking cigarettes or anything, but I'll probably smoke a couple Joes on this adventure because I got a lot to say. And this is a story about something that happened to me back in high school. This is my testimony. Tomorrow I gotta go to church, and I just hope that everything goes good for different reasons. Doesn't matter. First off, I got tattoos, but most people don't have any brands. I got a brand right here. See it? Across my heart. This is why I hope to die. I don't hope to die, but yeah. Brand cross over my heart. Also, you've ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean? Just like Jack Sparrow is. You gotta pee. It's very hard to sell, but it's there. I know his was just makeup, but yeah. Just say mine's real. For what it's worth, I'm a real life Jack Sparrow. He tells the story more like Jean Lafitte, but as far as that swag, Johnny Depp knows he owed me that whole character, swag and all. First thing I thought whenever I saw that movie in high school, like Mickey Mouse, I'm gonna need that check. You know what I mean? But the thing I've been into recently is epoxy resin. making epoxy resin molds. This is one I made of skull. We even got like a cicada inside of there. Unfortunately, my dog Robin had killed it. But that's a story for another day about how I taught Robin about death whenever she accidentally killed a cicada. It's inside there. Got a lot of little epoxy resin mold stuff over here. That Batman pictures, that's one that I technically painted whenever I was in rehab. A lot of stories, a lot of memories. This is my testimony. Alright. So alright. Growing up, going to University United Methodist Church, every Sunday morning my mom would make us go to church, Sunday school, and go to youth group. At that night, we'd have what was called Sunday Ultimate Devotional Service. SUDS. This youth group put on a little church service, and there's an altar call every night. And I would make a deal with God, for less and better terms, every week for weeks, years. You give me proof of your existence, then I'll never doubt your existence again. That was kind of a stupid idea to think that once you know something for a fact, it's no longer an idea, it's no longer belief status, this is known fact after something like that. But I made that deal with an eventual term where I said, if you got palpable proof, I'll live the rest of my life serving you, your family, Jesus Christ. And so, this is that story. My testimony. The one, if you ever heard my music at the end of Eyes with Thug, the third verse, I say that he sent me out into the world to tell my testimony. This is that story, okay? And it starts off back in high school, so for the sake of not wanting to name anybody that might not want to be named, I'm going to say I was going out there one night, weekend, with my boys, Boudreaux and Thibodeau. Thibodeau will say that he was kind of like my ace back then. Boudreaux, he was one of my aces, but we were hanging with all his friends. Turns out these dudes were thugs rubbish. Like, we all thought we were gangsters, we thought we were rappers, whatever. These guys, the stories, yeah, legendary. Okay, so starts off, and we're actually doing drugs. A drug back in the days, of course, eating called it triple C, CCC, dextromethorphan, DXM. And I remember back then, it was like a track. Whenever you got high on the stuff, it was so intense and a dirty trip. To the point where it was almost like being locked in jail, where you knew that you were never going to be able to fully remember what this jailhouse feels like. You were going to bring yourself back there again, more than like, it was hellish existence a lot of times, but I learned how to maneuver and move through it very well, I guess. I don't know. I do remember after high school, I slipped back into it, but it was a knockoff version that you would find in all the stores. And it had the same amount of dextromethorphan as the triple C's, but these pills were just a generic version that were labeled 411. Things were clean as a whistle. DXM, the way that scientists they were making it in the lab like LSD, would have wanted it to be. Besides the point, I'm not trying to promote drug use. Can't even find the stuff no more on the shelves, I don't believe. But back this night in high school, whenever I was going out there with Boudreaux and his partners, and me and Thibodeau was riding with them, the first time, you know what I'm saying, I'm like a senior. Boudreaux, we're gonna say that he's sophomore, maybe, yeah, sophomore. Thibodeau, he was like my age, right? Now, I'm on drugs. And something happens. My mom, she'd often sign us up for youth events whenever I was a kid going for University Methodist Church on all these different little out-of-town adventures and things. And it was wild because, like, for being as unpopular as I was at home, I'll tell you what, like, every time I go out of town, folks, like, for some reason, I just had a different type of reputation with all these people from the out of town. And it felt weird to me. I wasn't used to being popular by any means, if that makes any kind of sense. So, here's the thing. It's like, during the mixture of this, you know what I'm saying, night of drugs and hanging out as a high schooler, there's one guy that's a melanated pigment in the group. Remember, we're all Boudreaux's friends. The only part of their team, we're gonna call him Johnny Soulfoot, because he's always been cool with the flip side of a pillow. Shout out to KP on that little quote. But Johnny was not there this night. This is like the only night whenever Johnny was not with his clique throughout their entire like high school. Just trust me, it was the night that he wasn't there. And today he might be, you know, a good friend, possibly like a brother to me, but, you know, Johnny, he's just always had this swagger. And they, you remember these guys, they were pretty gangster. Like, they showed up the freshman year, they showed up, I'm a senior, they showed up to the place called The Wall. First thing in the morning that they did is they showed up to school and said, look, this is The Wall. The kids who was there said, yeah. They said, we just want to let y'all know that y'all are in our spot. Thing is that they met up after school in the parking lot, ended up actually beating freaking seniors down. They won it. I used to hate that story until I was actually an adult and could recognize how like gangster this was for freaking little white boys with birds. Okay? So on this particular night, all right, the movie theater down, United Arts Movie Theater, Power Center in Lake Charles, this at that time was well known as being the hangout for all of the melanated kids in the city, north side of town, be hanging out there on the weekends, seeing a movie or not type of situation. And the crew that I'm with, you know, Tyson, look, I mean, Boudreaux's partners, man, they were just convinced that they should go to this fight. They got their one black partner with them. And the thing is, they're trying to fight one-on-one, right. With his opponent being somebody who's got a little hand. A bunch of white boys pulling up with their one black friend to fight a kid with a little hand. The kid's already got a reputation for jumping folks and stuff. Bad situations where I'm vibing the whole time. And so they ain't want to listen to me, like, that it's a bad idea for a bunch of white boys to pull up for their one white friend to fight a crippled black kid at a freaking hangout spot. Just not a good look type of situation. They don't want to hear it though. And so as the drugs kicked in and whatnot, it's like they got an angel come stand behind me and says, Scott, your mom signed you up for one of them youth events. I'm like, you tripping, I'm here with my partners. My mom even shows up in the vision where I can remember seeing, she's there saying, nah, Scott, they can come too. Bring everybody with you. Which plays out because it's like later on in the vision, it's like, imagine if, and this is like an episodic dream. You've had dreams where you go to sleep and then wake up and go back to sleep and the dream continues. Okay, imagine that, except like, I'm technically semi-awake the whole time. Might as well be sleep though. On this triple C fucking DXM shit. And Mary Jane. But Lord. But I'm convincing myself in every way that what I'm seeing in my head is not real. This is drugs, yada yada, whoop whoop. What I went through was like, he brought me down a path that was like going through the Stations of the Cross, if that makes any sense. Anybody knows Catholic traditions and whatnot. And he was my guy, my chaperone. I remember seeing the Last Supper, Jesus looking me in the eye during this vision, okay? And then witnessing Alright, the potential future timeline of if my partner Boudreaux and his partner's Burst to go to this little fight. Folks got worked over. I'm talking Boudreaux not even really leaving his whip, just watched as all of his partners got rolled on. But then they had this one shiesty looking shady cat there at the parking lot there at the movie theaters where they were supposed to be scrapping. And this dude I just knew was trouble from the jump, right? And sure enough, he got a shank. He come rolling up backside of the Bourbon. Tyson drove up there, stabbed him, kills him. Now, in that moment, I'm tripping, I'm flipping like, oh my God, I'm watching my friend die. And my angel guide warned me at the beginning that no matter what happens, I cannot affect this timeline. I'm not really there. I'm like on, that old movie, TV show, something about angels, I don't know. Pretty much like I'm ghost mode to them. So whenever I see Boudreaux get hit with the blade, I'm talking like I'd flip out. But I watched my friend die in my arms in this vision, you got it? Okay? Right after that, understand that, alright, come here girl, everybody let me introduce y'all to my sidekick. This is my best friend, Robin, come here. My little dog there, Robin. You got a black cat named Tara over there. These are my kids, I ain't got no bloodline sense. As of today, that's one thing more than a wife I've ever wanted, but besides this is my testimony. So I watched this vision of a potential future timeline where my friend got stabbed to death. Then I'm brought back to the stage. Imagine like a talk show in heaven that I've been on, and my God, he's been the host. The whole audience is angels this whole time. Now the next scene part, I'm told that I've got the opportunity to go inside Boudreaux's head and tell him what I think he should do as far as his decision whether or not he's going to be the driver to that fight that his friends want him to go to, the one down on the side of the city where all the melanated people like to hang out, the children hang out. And we, a bunch of white kids, were supposed to be escorting our one black friend for his fist fight against a kid over there that had a small hand, crippled child. Bad look. That's why in the vision that I saw, somebody died. Okay? They're telling me that I'm about to be put in like a machine where I can tell him during his decision-making moment what to do. Imagine like this whole vision that I'm having. A lot of times I can hear what's going on around me as far as the conversations, but to say that my experience of time was comparison, they say a sentence to me is like a whole paragraph that's defining everything about them in the moment in a way that's just metaphor 5 and 6 school. Like it's crazy. And slowing down to that point where Tyson Boudreaux would be making his decision. Alright? So at first, I'm still not believing. I don't have the true faith I need to accept that this is not just something caused by drugs, you guys. I don't say nothing, but I can hear every thought that goes through Boudreaux's head after the countdown to 10 ends. And I realized then that everything was so organic in the moment that his thoughts that I was hearing, there's no other possible thoughts that could have been going through his head at the time. Everything's happening so organically to my understanding and recollection that I realized the reality of this. I'm giving a second chance and I say, Boudreaux, just stay here. Don't go to that fight. Just get stuck with us and hang out. Yada, yada, whoop, whoop. He, in that moment, stands up, feels like he gets stabbed in the stomach, and I don't remember nothing the next day. Until the second half of the vision takes place. Around noon, we're over at Thibodeau's partner's house. Smoke some top flight, Odie back and realize this is like 2004. And so that kicks in the dead son from the night before, I guess, the second half of this vision, that ends at Thibodeau's sister's house, like her boyfriend's house, and at the end of it, I realized how important this is. This is that thing I've been asking for my whole teenage life from God at the end of every Sunday's church service, altar call, this request. Yeah. And my eyes are closed, we're in a dim house, but it might as well be flashing a flashlight from my face for what I'm seeing underneath these eyelids. It's that bright. It's like I'm looking in the sky on the clearest blue day, and the only thing in the clouds that you can see is one cloud of Jesus' face. So I come to my senses enough to trip out, and I'm the driver for this day, guys. So I hop in my car, but not before getting outside and realizing that freaking cloud is the only one in the sky, the real life sky. So whenever Boudreaux and Thibodeau hop back in the vehicle with me, Thibodeau, my ace at the time, he was never with the Jesus stuff. I've been riding this for a minute, and this is like, he's pretending he don't see what I don't see, and Boudreaux is agreeing he knows everything. Realize though, Boudreaux the night before, he heard me tell him not to go to that fight that I saw him get stabbed at. And so whenever he's hearing what I got to say, which is a lot of wild stuff as I'm trying to drive at the time, he looks at me and says, "Scott, were you on my head last night?" Boom! I remember almost everything from the night before. Okay? I gotta go and drop off Thibodeau because he's not with this vibe and sliding, like this religious stuff is just not his job that day. But me and Boudreaux go down to a graveyard where we both got kinfolk buried, end up watching that cloud turn into an entire movie. Okay? At the end of this little film strip service that we watched, it's like all you see is what looks like, from me, from my perspective, our backs. Okay? So I got a feeling I know what we're supposed to do, so we kneel down, start praying, and you see nothing but hands coming across like all the angels in the heavens are laying them on our back. I can feel everyone, so can he. Okay? Now, if that ain't two palpable witnesses, then I don't know what the evidence I was looking for could have been whenever I made that secondary agreement to my deal with God, that if he gave me palpable proof to go along with the proof of his existence, then I'd be working for his family for the rest of my life. Okay? So, the next morning is Monday morning, get back to school. Understand, Johnny Soulfoot, yeah, always been cool on the flip side of the pillow. This dude, brother of mine to this day, he knows this story, but that morning, Boudreaux tried to lay it all out on the line to him, and me feeling like the whole time that I'm doing this, I'm feeling the understanding that this is me playing Peter to the nth degree. Because 3 times Boudreaux tried to tell Johnny what happened and about what all took place that weekend, that Johnny wasn't with his crew. The one time he wasn't with his crew. And I deny him right. I'm not sure, I'm not positive. 3 times before the bell rings like the cock crows. Peter, like Peter Rabbit, my daddy nicknamed me Scotty Rabbit whenever I was too young to walk or talk. Thing is, I recently, this past Saturday, a week ago from the day, I was walking my dog across the street from Salvation Army, where on West McNeese Street, in between Old Folks Home and Nice Subdivision, High-end Subdivision, I had seen in this little field a dead rabbit. I'm talking dead as in everything on it was still intact, perfect, except for its ears and its anus. Asshole been eaten out, which is a little symbolic if you know you know. But instead of inspiring fear, because my daddy nicknamed me Scotty Rabbit a long time ago, somebody who's into, some kind of Haitian Creole voodoo could technically kill a rabbit, throw it in the right spot, and then hex me. I'm not even feeling that vibe though. I've been looking for a rabbit like this so that I can get that back left hind leg in order to make me a lucky rabbit's foot, y'all. Got my foot. Got it soaking in borax, about to finish that rinse so that I can finish it off as my luckiest rabbit foot ever, done proper Creole voodoo fashion. Back in the 90s, you got a pizza place called Gaddy's. Imagine Chuck E. Cheese except for local smoky, knockoff, where for about 60 tickets you can get you a rabbit's foot that was supposed to be lucky. Probably wasn't always the back left foot like it's supposed to be. Back then, that's how you got you a lucky rabbit's foot. They were made out of real rabbit feet too, I can remember that. Yeah, back in the 90s, back in the good old days, that's how you got you a lucky rabbit's foot. For all the luck that held. A little bit symbolic, if you know what I mean. I've got to make sure that this story of mine, this is my testimony, and it gets put on all these platforms before tomorrow morning's Sunday service for church for personal reasons. And nobody gets to tell this story but me. And once it hits the 8th of she ain't letting it disappear. It's there. I guarantee that. Scott Michael Ford Mercury grade. Okay? So, yeah. I'm your lucky rabbit foot you're making. Scotty Rabbit, Super Scott and Ford, Super Scott and Southern Underground poetry artist, self-made upper paradigm alchemist, many names over the years, many more identities, but this is me. This is my testimony, for what it's worth. There's still the second half that can be told as part 2 and 3, but this is the part that I'm getting out here tonight because the timeline is very important that certain things happen in order. If you know, you know. But I just had to get this off my chest and I want to say I love you guys. Good night. I don't even know how to stop a live chat on Instagram or TikTok. I am vengeance. I am night. I am not Batman. They all think it's Bruce Wayne, but it's Scott Ford again. The other night I told y'all pretty much my testimony, and well, I left out the prologue. Before I get to that, show y'all. It's even better now. I was talking about the brand, Jack Sparrow style pirates. Oh, that's all stupid. This is what I used to do that. There's no looking rabbit's foot. But the other night, so I have a vision I told y'all about. Boudreaux, I watched him get killed. Then I was told I gotta go inside of his head at the time he makes the decision whether or not to give the ride to his friends to go to the fight where I saw him get killed at. The next day he looked at me and said, Scott, we're in my head. We went and dropped off Thibodeau because Thibodeau was not into this. Don't you know, like 10 years later, y'all, not quite 10 years, but years down the road, I'm living in a fraternity house, okay? And I hang out with Thibodeau for the first time and really the only time since back in those days. He's been in the army and things since then. And on his back, this is the same man who on the day that the sky was showing the freaking cloud in Jesus' face, he didn't want to believe it. He didn't want it. We had to go drop him off at home. Me and Boudreaux went and hung out. And Thibodeau, I'm living in the fraternity house, he comes over and hangs out. Jesus Christ tattoo on his back. He says he got blown up in Iraq and woke up in the hospital. The last thing he remembers seeing was that man's face. Don't you know that he, in his mind, had thought that actually he was the one who saw the cloud that day? All I know is that God is great. But yeah, that's why I live the life I live the way I do, because it's
my testimony, I asked for this. At the end of the day, God provided. So I work for Him. Always have. Always will. So I just got this started at the end of Christmas Eve 2025. And I'm over at my dad's house. And before I go to bed, I'm going to take a little ride on the golf cart and check out the Christmas lights. But I had to finish the story because technically leaving Thibodeau's part out at the end ain't right. Because at the end of the whole shebang, there's two witnesses. I'm not gonna say their names, but they will come out later more than me. I don't care, but I'm not just gonna just put them out there like that. But there's a reason why I act the way I do. I'm very confident in my role. I'm beloved. Alright, I've said it before and I will say it again. Heaven on earth for me will always be, where else? My father's house. Yeah, I was technically raised up on that silver spoon treatment. Got picked on a lot as a kid. I feel like whatever I'd gotten as far as the coming from luxury is concerned kind of balanced out the pain I went through. Like every day at school, I gotta just make it through and then put on a smile on the face when I get home. It's just, I don't know. I do know that I was raised with two great dads. Like, that's one thing I forgot to get into the other night as well. Like, at least I don't remember if I did. I don't think I told y'all that the fact is, whenever the statistics were saying it was broken homes causing hoodlums, turns out it was fatherless households. Yet I had two great dads. Whenever I say great, I'm coming from Southwest Louisiana, two Southern gentlemen that represented both sides of the spectrum to the T. First off, Leonard Clyde Ford Jr., my dad, blood dad. Whenever I say business was his business, rep for Motorola all across the southern district of Louisiana, like, and you know, it's been said about many things. Some stuff just sells itself. So whenever you got Motorola, like rocking the 80s, 90s, we're talking about like two-way radios and stuff with police departments, fire departments, 911 buildings, hospitals, whole big shebangs. He's making deals, wheeling and dealing. My stepdaddy, entered my life probably third grade, and this dude is Southern gentleman to the T, and his end of the spectrum, yeah. How about that Sportsman's Paradise Representative Pro Max? I'm talking like has shot his own arrow twice, like Robin Hood style, like the way that he wins the tournament in the movie, in the story. Yeah, my stepdaddy's done it twice. So I was still hell on wheels, but you know, not their fault.
There he goes, one of God's own prototypes. A high-powered mutant of some kind never even considered for mass production. Too weird to live, and too rare to die.